Hello, everyone. Once again, welcome to our series called Strike a Balance. This is now part two of our three-part series. And yes, we have learned something last time, and thank you for joining me again right now. And our topic for right now is organize. Once again, I'm Chap Jazel. And last time, let us review what we learned. We talk about why we need to strike a balance. I've shared to you two things. Number one is to be productive, and number two is to be efficient. And yes, I've taught you about prioritize. So, how to prioritize, I've shared also two things only. Number one is put God first, and then others will follow. And that is found in Matthew 6:33 to 34. And of course, the practical steps on prioritizing. Number one, all of these are letter C, no? So one is commune and pray to God first. Commit everything you'll do. Number two, and number three, confide to God's purpose or be confident to God's purpose in your life. Now let's move on. Why do we need to organize? It says an anonymous person, for every minute spent organizing, an hour is earned. So yes, we are being efficient in terms of uh, our time and not wasting our time. What else? The only difference between a mob and a trained army is organization by Calvin Coolidge. The result is getting more done while feeling less stress. Wow. Who among you doesn't want to be stressed? Of course, all of us, we don't want to be stressed. So we need to organize so we will have less stress, less juggling, and more living. 1 Corinthians 14, verse 40 also says, "But all things should be done decently and in order." As young as my kids are 5 years old, 3 and 1, I'm teaching them orderliness because it's very important, and the Bible is even telling us to do so. So why did Paul say these things or say that in 1 Corinthians? So this instruction from Paul was not based on his own desire for tidiness in worship, but rather reflects the character of God. And that's one thing that's most important. When we are reflecting God's character, and orderliness is one of God's character. You remember when he created everything on the first week? He did create in order. He created first the light, and then the atmosphere, and then yes, the land and the trees, before he created the other living things like fish and birds, and yeah, sun, moon, and stars, and yeah, human beings. So he prepared first the things that they need before putting on the animals, the fish, the birds, and us, human beings. Because God is a God of order. As Paul stated in his letter, for God is not a God of disorder, but of peace, as in all the congregations of the Lord's people. 1 Corinthians 14:33. So the Greek word used for this order comes from akatastatos, which has the idea of instability or confusion. Imagine, what if your God is a God of disorder? That means confusion, instability. I think I don't want a God like that, no? So really, orderliness or being organized is God's character. So such disorder characterized the gathering of believers in Corinth but does not reflect the orderliness of God's character. So how to organize? Let's begin. Luke 14:28 to 30. Let's learn from the Bible. For which of you, desiring to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it? Otherwise, when he has laid a foundation and is not able to finish, all who see it begin to mock him, saying, "This man began to build and was not able to finish." Have you seen a building that is unfinished? Yeah, you're having the same thoughts as this one, right? It seems like, oh, what happened to this person who tried to build this building? It seems like he didn't plan well or he didn't have enough money anymore. So, yeah, that's what happened. So the first thing you need to do is sit down or plan ahead. Okay, again, sit down or plan ahead. So in organizing, you need to think first and plan. So it takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan. So yeah, maybe you keep on wishing and wishing, but then you're not planning and then it's not gonna work, no? So first you need to sit down or plan ahead. Before, when I was in, fourth year, I believe, fourth year college, I create a life plan. So in my life plan, since I'm graduating already, I believe by May 2012, I'm already a graduate of AB Theology. My age then is 22. And after that, I put choices, one, two, three, six choices, the possible ministry that I could involve in. So for 4 to 5 years, I'm thinking that maybe I could be part of the communication ministry in NPUC, or the Hope Channel, or maybe I can do chaplaincy, in MAMC, or maybe I can do church planting in CLC, or maybe I could take masters, or maybe full-time literature evangelist if things doesn't work. And then maybe I could take education courses for 1 year. So those are my options. And what happened is, you see the check there. I became a chaplain in MAMC in our medical center, Manila. And then I also became part of the Hope Channel Philippines. The communication thing there. So it happened also. And then in I take my master's when I'm 28 years old. In here it's 25. So those are the things that happen. And then at 25, I'm thinking that I would have a child, and it happened. I'm 25 years old when I had my first baby. And then at 28 years old, I'm thinking to have a family ministry. And I did have, because I have my kids already. And yes, I believe we have a family ministry, because most of the time when they have their birthdays, we are either have gift givings or medical mission, something like that. So we keep on doing mission during their birthdays. On what else? At 30 years old, I'm planning to be in a teaching ministry, and it did happen. 2020, finally I'm in AUP, back to AUP, and I'm teaching. And then here, I put here at 35 years old, graduated from PhD in public health. I don't know if that's God's will. Let's see what will happen. And at 40 years old, I put here that I'm a missionary already, or I have my own ministry or institution. Let's see, that's 9 years from now. And then 40 to 60 onwards, I'm planning to keep on teaching, maybe in a school until retirement. So that's my life plan. So how about you guys? Have you tried to sit down and try to make your life plan? You know what? When you do this, you will be amazed how God is working, how God works miracles of miracles in your life. So try it. It's good to plan, because you will have guide, you will have direction, and you will see how the Lord works. Next, how to organize same verses for which of you desiring to build a tower does not fit. First, sit down and count the cost. The second is count the cost. Calculate the consequences of something. Yes, you also need to do that. For example, after I graduate 2012, well, actually, I don't have money to do a business or something. And yes, I prefer to just be employed in some of our denominations. So it happened. And before I took my master's degree last 2018, I also really saved money. Uh, Actually, it's just enough for the first semester, and then I plan to have a scholarship. And it did happen. I was able to finish. So you need to count the cost. Cost of true Christianity is the forsaking of this world's ways, customs, and traditions. But the root word, or the root or background of this is that we also count the cost of our faith, of Christianity, of being a follower of Jesus. That means when we want to be a follower of Jesus, we forsake the world, the customs and traditions of the world, and then we fully follow Him. Okay, so in the same way, as we organize, we need to count the cost of everything, of our plans, of what we're about to do. For example, you want to take PhD. So, yeah, you need to count the cost of that one before you jump into it. So, for example, how much time and resources you need for a particular goal or task. Here is a COVID-19 daily schedule. First, you wake up and then morning walk. Maybe you have 1 hour for that. Yeah, academic time. Or maybe 3 hours for your classes, or creative time, 1 hour for that, and then lunch 1 hour, something like that. So you count the cost, how many hours you put in it, or how much, yeah, money you put in it, or what resources you have that you put in it. Again, the next thing is in how to organize. Let's find out from this verses, Exodus 18:25. Moses chose able men out of all Israel and made them heads over the people, chiefs of thousands, of hundreds, of fifties, and of tens. And Acts 6 verse 3 says, therefore, brothers, speak out from among you 7 men of good repute, full of the Spirit and of wisdom, whom we will appoint to this duty. What is this all about? Delegation. Delegation or distribution of task. Sometimes you're a person of you want to do it all, no? But then sometimes it's very useful to do delegation or distribution of tasks because it saves time and it gives you more time to do other things that is more important. So the first rule of management is delegation. Don't try and do everything yourself because you can't. From Anthea Turner. So what can you delegate? For example, in the dorm, number one, maybe ordering food at the cafeteria. Maybe you take turns. First, yeah, this one first. You go to the cafeteria and then at lunchtime, the other person would do that. So it saves time actually. And then number two, you also about cleaning the room. You take turns doing that. It's not that one person doing it every day again and again. So it's consuming all his or her time, right? But then if you take turns, then you save time for all of you guys. And then laundry also. Sometimes you want to do it by yourself, but if there are things that you can put in the laundry area for AUP students, yeah, you just send them to the laundry. For me, I do that in college because, yeah, that's part of our fees. So I make sure I use it and it saves me time. Number four, group projects, delegation of tasks. Yeah, if you have group projects, make sure you share the burden with each other, not just you. You may be the wisest one or the not more knowledgeable one, but then you need to delegate tasks. That's very important. Number five, when buying of necessities outside, nowadays it's very wise to buy online because you just spend a few minutes searching it and then you just wait for a few days and then you have it. But if you would go outside, ride a vehicle, it will take you time, no? So yeah, why not try buying online? And also what we call right now pasabay, no? Instead of you buying it, you have people you know who will go there and buy, and then yeah, you ask if you can also buy for yourself, and many others, no? So try to think of ways to delegate or distribute tasks, of course in a nice way, no? And in a fair way. So what else? How to organize? We have here another one coming from Mark 6:39 to 40. Then he commanded them all to sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat down in groups by hundreds and by fifties. John 20:6 to 7. Then Simon Peter came, following him, and went into the tomb. He saw the linen clothes lying there, and the face cloth which had bitten Jesus' head, not lying with the linen cloths, but folded up in a place by itself. So what I'm talking about here is tidy up. So in organizing, we also need to tidy up. Okay? You remember Jesus? Yes, he has risen from the dead, but he didn't forget to fold the linen cloth that is covering his face or his head. And you know what this means? It means he was not robbed. He was not stolen, no? This proves that he is not stolen. Because if you are the robber, would you fold? Would you fold neatly some of the linen clothes? Of course not, right? So this proves that Jesus has risen and God has risen him from the dead. So it's very important to tidy up. It also enables us to really feel God's presence and to have clear minds and to invite the holy angels to be with us, no? So if you know Marie Kondo, he's very well known in the internet for tidying up. So Marie Kondo's 6 rules for tidying are: number 1, commit yourself to tidying up. Okay, please commit yourself to do so. Number 2, imagine your ideal lifestyle. Uh, Recently, we have here in Facebook a group called Home Buddies, and it's giving us idea of how to the style in the house, how to organize and manage things to have beautiful appearance for our places. So try to imagine your ideal lifestyle. And the number 3, finish discarding first. Yeah, there are things that you need to discard. Please do that. And then number 4, tidy by category, not location. For example, in a room, instead of cleaning the whole room one at a time or all at the same time, why not do it one at a time, right? I mean, the cabinet first. Okay, after you finish the cabinet, the next day you can clean up um, the bed, or under the things under the bed, something like that. And after that, maybe the next day you can clean up the CR. So tidy by category, because sometimes the room is too big and there's so many things in it. So little by little, one by one. Okay. And then number 5, follow the right order. Clothes first, books, and then papers, and then the other things. And then the last one is the sentimental items. And then last, ask yourself if it sparks joy. Why not, right? When we tidy up things, organize things, and then ask yourself, oh, are you happy with it? That it sparks joy? Yes. And we want that the things we see can make us happy. So again, to summarize it, how to organize: number 1, plan ahead. It's very important to make plans. It saves time and it helps you to be less stressed. Number 2 is count the cost. Make sure that you put enough time for it, so you won't be so rushing. And also, if it needs money, so make sure you count the cost for that. And number 3, delegate. If there are things that you can distribute or delegate, then do it, because even in the Bible there are delegation. There are principles like that from the Bible. And number 4, tidy up. It's very important to tidy up. And remember that when we have clean surroundings, it's more inviting for us to have clear thoughts and do things well. And of course, we invite the presence of God when things are in order and not in chaos, because our God is a God of order. So from Matthew 25:21, let me tell this or read this to you. His master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." So I hope and pray that God could see you faithful even in these little things in your life, even in organizing and planning and the rest. So God bless everyone, and see you again next week.